Hello, my name is Bozo, and I like drawing comics. I don't like talking, and this is a weekly working stream, I guess you can call it, where I work on the comic I'm working on. The comic is called The Bad Neighborhood. It is a Resident Evil 2 and other zombie genre inspired comic. Um, and that's what I'm working on and what I'm going to be working on this stream. So yeah, quick story recap. Like I said, this is a Resident Evil 2 inspired comic. So right now they've made it to the police station. They were chased by a couple of zombies into the police station, and now they're locked in. I am gonna deviate away from, what was originally Resident Evil 2's story, and just do whatever I feel like doing. So right now, Police Chief Irons just locked them in, although they don't know it's Sirens yet. Locked them into the police station. And that's she's going to be the main antagonist. Everybody's gender bent just for some reason, whatever. And yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, in this page I got right here up on the screen, they're going to meet Marlene, who's been injured by Police Chief Irons, or yeah, I'm probably just going to name her Irons or just something like that. This is just kind of like a comic. I'm just trying to get my gears on with drawing comics again. So yeah, we meet Marlene right here, which is basically Marvin, and she's injured, and gonna let them know that the police chief can't be trusted. And in the comics let them know that she basically killed all the survivors that were in the police station huddled up during the zombie outbreak, and she's lost her marbles, basically. So yeah, let me get started on working here, and then I'll come back in a bit and chat a little bit more. Keep thinking about making this knife bigger. I don't know, I feel like it looks a little stumpy. I think that looks a little bit better. It looks a little bit bigger, but at what point does a knife become a sword? So in this panel, kind of Clarence is just telling Leona, something's off here. Stay sharp, basically, because he has a gut feeling about being locked in here. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on in this panel. I think drawing small is always a little bit more complicated, I guess, than drawing big things. Basically, like Clarence is easy to draw. Drawing a tiny Leona is kind of a little bit tough sometimes. Can't forget to draw her broken arm. Like I said before, I kind of do regret breaking her arm. I thought that was kind of a fun thing to do at the beginning of the comic, but now, you know, kind of thinking about how she's going to be using weapons and stuff like that does sort of limit her ability. Although, you know, I'm gonna have her shoot, you know, at least a pistol left-handed, and maybe I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if she kind of shoots a shotgun like with her left hand and kind of helps out maybe in certain scenarios. Be kind of interesting. A little wonky, but I think he gets the idea across. I mean, it's not drawing skills aren't that great, so I take what I can get. I've been thinking about that. To be honest with you, I haven't been in the loop of where to post comics. I know Webtoon is a thing, even though it looks like the comics they post there a little bit differently. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to make some time to find some hosting services, so I can actually be posting these comics. You know, so you can actually kind of read them. Although the very first couple of pages do jump in quality a lot. But yeah, I am definitely looking into that. I just don't remember I mean, I used to post comics a while back, but then I just stopped, and I don't know what sites are still working or what sites are still popular. I just haven't looked into that too much. I've been busy with work and all that. But yeah, definitely gonna find somewhere to post these comics up, because I don't know, I posted them on Twitter, but I feel it's just not the same. Make her legs a little bit longer. She looks a little bit stubby. Yeah, I don't know about Webtoon either. I mean, it's I think like I think I had an account like a while back when I was gonna post again, but it just, I don't know, just something about it seemed like complicated. So yeah, maybe it's like that, like a contract or something. I don't know. I think that was like another web hosting service, like Tapas or something like that. I don't remember. I think I had a couple pages of some comic on there a while back. But yeah, I mean, it seems like Webtoon's like the biggest one these days, from, you know, kind of just things I hear around and see around. But, you know, it looks like kind of like that more Korean style, I guess, that they kind of that scrolling type of comic. So I'm not sure if, you know, if there's very many of these type of comics, you know, kind of just traditional paper comic type things. Yeah, but I remember like I was looking through that Webtoon thing, and it's like, oh, you can monetize your comic, and I guess people can subscribe to like your comic or something like that, and they pay you money. But you know, yeah, I think something like that. Monthly or per chapter? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know how it works. I'll have to look into it, because I think this would probably just be posting just like a page whenever I finish it. I haven't really broken it down into chapters. It's more likely just kind of go on. It's just one big old chapter till it finishes. So I don't know if that would be good for that site, or just I think like all the other sites, the ones I remember at least, you can just kind of upload the pages as you want. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that Webtoon one. I did think about doing one of those scrolling comic things. I think that would have been kind of cool, but I just kind of didn't find my way of doing it, basically. I don't know. I didn't read too many of those scrolling comics, so I think these sort of flow a little bit more naturally. I think what's the best placement for these bubbles, these speech bubbles. I think I put it right here and just cover up the under the legs a little bit, so it looks a little bit better. Looks a little bit kind of. No, I think it's fine. Something like this. The first bubble over here is going to say something like, you know, stay sharp, or, and then I'll just switch it over like stay sharp, and then like over here something's not right. Let me add some of the little details in the background. Details mainly being little lines to kind of just fill out the whites so it doesn't look so empty. Alrighty, so the next panel I got here is going to be kind of them like not sneaking through the main hall of the police station, but just kind of like walking through it cautiously, just because, you know, bad feelings and whatnot. And they're kind of walking like behind that main statue, kind of where the like the computers and all that stuff were in the original RE2, the classic one. And that's where they're going to meet Marlene, as I mentioned. Gonna put like some, I guess, some dead some victims from the zombies just in the desks. You know, they were, I don't know, they could be victims from the zombies or maybe victims from Police Chief Irons, kind of just going crazy and just shooting people. But just some bodies on the computers in the little, like a little mini office they have behind that statue. Sketch them out like really rough. I mean, you can kind of get the idea of what I'm going for here. I don't want to waste too much time on them. Foreground is pretty much done, just kind of like a really rough sketch, just showing, you know, oh, there's some computer desks here, and there's you know, there's another body right here of somebody else that was either taken out by the zombies or taken out by the police chief. And just to kind of set up the mood, I guess, that the inside of the police station isn't safe. Kind of a weird, clear looking clearance, but we're gonna do with it. A little wonky, but it's gonna have to work. Yeah, I mentioned previously about Leona and her beret. You can see right here in the little images I have behind me that she has a beret. So I was thinking about maybe Marlene, since she's the senior cop, I guess, here. Same thing as Marvin was. She should give her the beret so she can have her complete police uniform outfit or whatever. And I think that's how I'm going to get the beret back on Leona. She looks a lot like Jill. Well, kind of intentional. I did always like Jill's first design. And yeah, I just want to add that beret in there. I'm just going to say something like, oh, you know, she wears it to honor her fallen comrade or whatever. That's going to be the excuse anyways. And say that she left it in the car when she was initially attacked by the first group of zombies that attacked her. Something like that's what I'm thinking of. Also gives that kind of a connection to, you know, to her, the police station or whatever. You know, it was her first day on the job. Same like Leon. Also did kind of forget, I originally intended for Clarence to have a little bit longer hair, maybe like a ponytail or something like Claire, but I just always forgot to draw it, so we're stuck with that very Shinji Ikari hair. Just drawing Leona here a little bit shorter than Clarence. That's something I usually don't see in comics. Well, at least in some of the comics I read. Usually the males, men and women, are probably about the same size. I do like a size difference, so it's nice to see Leona's a little bit shorter. That's the reason why I drew her a little bit shorter now. I think it looks better. Clarence is pretty big, and Leona's not that big. Something like this works. They're kind of just sneaking around, kind of cautious as to what they're up against. They know the police station could probably not be completely safe, and they might get jumped by like a zombie, or I don't know, one of the running zombies they encountered. This universe kind of did A little bit kind of Left 4 Dead, where there are runners. I have been contemplating Special Infected for a while now. That's probably the next plot point we're going to go to after Marlene. We do the meeting with Marlene, and you know, they talk, they say whatever. They're probably gonna, the same way as in RE2, they meet a liquor or something along the lines of. I'll just probably improvise some type of monster, something maybe funny. I think it would work best. I'd originally made this kind of thinking of it as a B movie, even though Resident Evil 2, the original, kind of already has that B movie feel, but kind of like a even cheesier, cheaper B movie, kind of like a knockoff of Resident Evil 2, something like that. Kind of like a really bad B movie. I really love watching those because those are pretty funny most of the time. Unintentionally funny. Well, sometimes they're intentionally funny, but sometimes they're unintentionally funny. Alright, give me 1 sec. The pen on the tablet stopped responding. Give me 1 second. Never mind, it's back. Just one of those weird times where it stops responding. I don't know, I guess it just has like a little glitch out and just stops moving. But yeah, with that little movement I made of going to the BRB screen, it just came back. Mysteries of the computer, I guess. Let's just add a little more squiggly lines around here and there, just to kind of fill out the space and make it look like it was intentional. And like I mentioned before, the last two panels of this this comic, or of this page of the comic, are just going to be the reaction. Marlene kind of groans a little bit. You know, she's been shot fatally, I guess you can call it, and you know, she's dying, and they're just gonna talk to her in her last moments. She's eventually going to come back as a zombie, even though she hasn't been bit. Thinking, at least in the moment, to kind of do kind of like that Walking Dead thing where everybody who dies just comes back as a zombie. That's probably what I'm thinking of right now, but I don't know. We'll see as the pages go along what I want to do. Big, decent looking clearance right there. Alrighty, so this clearance is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and draw Leon in the background. Now just to draw her arm sling, which is always a little bit weird to draw, but I'll just do something like this. Get kind of an idea of what it's supposed to be. Just her arm sling. Looking pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. Started thinking about where this her bubble is supposed to be. It was originally supposed to be around where towards the bottom of the panel, I guess. I don't know, I kind of don't want to interrupt the way this looks already, so I don't know, maybe I'm gonna just draw something maybe here in the middle somewhere, it's kind of just like that speech bubble of Marlene's groan versus the one I had over here at the bottom. But let me just think about this for a bit. Yeah, I think it's gonna be best right there in that little center spot. I can just, I don't know, I feel it just works better. Or if I can just maybe do another one over here too, kind of like, ooh, just sort of make the panel look a little bit more fuller, I guess. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's move on to the next panel. So it's kind of like we're just looking over Clarence's head over here in the last panel, over one of the computer desks to the little back of the back wall of, I guess, that little area, and you can see kind of I don't know if I could say the top of her head, of Marlene's head right there, where she's kind of like sitting down and just trying to tend to her wounds. But yeah, she's basically right there, just laying out, kind of bleeding out, maybe, to be honest, which she's already been shot pretty bad a couple times by the police chief. So yeah, that's what the last panel is. As we got so far with this page, I think it's looking pretty good. We got the first panel, Leona just saying now the door's locked, stay sharp, something's not right. Them sneaking around, and them running into Marlene in the last panel, just to sort of keep the story going. I don't want to hang up on too much things. I really just want to finish the story quickly and have this under my belt. That's probably been one of my goals for the longest, just to have an actual finished story. And that's why I started the channel, basically, because I wanted to share progress, I guess, but also have some type of accountability in these in this comic process making stuff thing. And you know, it's been easy. You know, it's been easier to sort of do these things, even though I don't have as much time as I would like. And just get these things done. Honestly, you know, it's some people are watching. Occasionally, people leave their comments, and especially on the logs, on the videos I did, the progress logs that were weekly before I started doing these streams. And that just kind of gave a little bit more motivation. You know, maybe they're not reading the comic because I don't have it anywhere up online, but you know, they have mild interest, and you know, at least some well wishes of me getting it done. So let's add the color black into here just to sort of flesh everything out and make everything look a little bit more full. Keep forgetting Leona's bulletproof vest should be black as well. Let me just fill that in real quick. Just fills out her outfit a little bit more if it's black. Looking pretty good thus far. Let's just keep on working. I mentioned this before, but I'm still thinking about after this if I should separate Leona and Clarence or keep them together. That's just kind of another thing I've been thinking about. How I should handle it, basically, going forward after they, after they start encountering the police chief a little bit. If they get separated or they stay together. It's kind of another one of the things I've been just thinking about how I'm gonna handle it. But knowing me, I'll probably just make it up as I go, and just whatever feels right, I guess. And now with the black colors, it's looking a little bit more full. Just go ahead and add in some of the grays just to sort of do some of the lighting, I guess, or yeah, just the lighting, and just kind of just make everything feel a little bit more full and whatnot. I did forget a little bit of black color here, just a little bit under the shade, I guess, under Clarence's chin. Something like this is looking pretty decent. Kind of something really rough, but something to sort of give you the idea of what the idea is going for. I know there's a lot of, especially kind of the rougher mangas in Japan, especially kind of the more I wouldn't say amateur, but I would say kind of the smaller publisher brands, smaller publisher magazines have a lot of more rough artwork. I remember, was it Attack on Titan had kind of really a rough artwork at the beginning. I don't know about how it ended up or how clean it got towards the end, but yeah, I mean it was kind of rough, but you kind of got the idea, and the story was interesting enough for it to get a hit. So that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't want to really I can't in any degree do really good artwork because I know that's just going to take even longer. I mean, this comic's pretty slow to start with, and if I start trying to draw everything really well, it's not going to look that much better, and it's just going to take a lot longer and look not that much better than what I'm doing right now. Yeah, kind of the origin. On the second, when I was redoing the script, I kind of just made a second origin. It's just kind of basically the same way that when they break a vial at the umbrella, kind of the way they did it in the Resident Evil movies. Yeah, I mean, just basically they break a vial. I didn't show that in the actual comic just because that was something I ended up doing on a second script when I was trying to do like the visual novel or something like that. But yeah, by the time Birkin comes around or something like that, I'll just make it up. But it's something along those lines where they'll just somebody drop the vial on purpose or on accident. It was on accident on the draft I had, but the subject to change to whatever is I feel like doing at the time. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of both. It's gonna make it up as I go, kind of thing. A little black spot over here. Should be the top of Clarence's head, just kind of curing off into this part. And you can see just a little tip of Marlene's head in this last panel. Alright, so let's go ahead and add the speech, the text, the lettering, I guess it's called. Let's go ahead and add that in. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Let me just go grab some water real quick. Alrighty, so we're back and pretty much done with this page. We're gonna go ahead and go on to storyboard the next page. I was thinking right now maybe kind of like the way Marvin also explained kind of the zombie outbreak. More or less along the same lines. I'm gonna probably try and do something like that, and also have her explain about the police chief going crazy as well, just to kind of set up where we're gonna go from now. I think kind of like a big panel here, just kind of showing Marlene's injury. I was thinking about having her being shot in the stomach, kind of like Reservoir Dogs, like that guy who was shot. I forgot who it was. Which color guy was it? But yeah, something like that, and have everything explained out. So I'll probably just do like one big panel first, just to show what was at the end of the other panel, the end of the other page. That panel is just, you know, we're going to be showing Marlene here. Streaming, yeah, I'm probably streaming about the same time I started today, about this time, maybe tomorrow, and then also Wednesday. So yeah, typically the schedule right now, Wednesday, then Saturday, Sunday. Just streaming around the same time. It's at around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I did start a little bit later. I was a bit tied up with other things. But yeah, pretty much around this hour, Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. And typically only work on the comic when I'm on stream, just because kind of forces me to focus versus, you know, just kind of slacking off and then just looking at something else. And so it's midnight where you're at. Yeah, insomnia. Yeah, it's not a good one, but hey, at least you got something to watch, right? For sure, for sure. At least glad to be entertaining you a little bit while, you know, while you got your insomnia going on. I could probably just split this panel up a little bit just to kind of divide it up about like right here and just have kind of them getting close to her or something like that. And probably just have this panel be just kind of zoom in kind of her gunshot wound. Kind of want to make it that she wasn't wearing her bulletproof vest because she was in the precinct. That's why she was able to get shot. Kind of just like a little kind of mini backstory or whatnot. Just kind of thinking of how just don't want to have them just kind of like standing there looking at her afterwards. How should I introduce them into this panel? I guess you could point their gun at them, just thinking they're zombies or something like that. Just kind of fading in and out just because she's been shot and kind of bleeding out. Let me think about it. Kind of another way is just kind of I remember in the Resident Evil 2 classic one, when you enter the room and then Marvin groans, like Leon immediately runs over to him. So yeah, I could probably just have Leona like run over to him, and then just kind of Clarence is just in the background, kind of being cautious or whatever. Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Probably just have Marlene go into, oh, you must be the new girl or the new guy, as Liam Marvin said. Just kind of go right there, and then I'm probably gonna have to rewatch that scene. I don't remember exactly how he gets into that, into the explanation of the zombies, but yeah, I'm basically gonna have her just explain, kind of not word for word from what Marvin says, but something very close, and just add to that that, you know, the police chief is gone bonkers and is just killing everybody. So to watch out and don't trust her. Don't trust her as the police chief is crazy, and that's going to be probably the main antagonist right now for a good part. And then after that, you know, sort of introduce the nemesis, the female nemesis that I want to do, and maybe the female Mr. or Mrs. X. I don't know how I'm going to do both of those. And so I kind of wanted to split them up, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, the Dark Side Chronicles are together, and I think it's kind of cool. And I don't know, probably just keep them together for the meantime. Kind of interesting how to see how I'm going to do like Ada and Sherry or something like that, but I don't know. I'll figure it out as I get there and just do whatever I think is best. Right, I'm just kind of thinking about how I'm going to do that whole info dump without taking up a bajillion pages. I'm probably just going to go into it like right now in this next next panel, and just kind of have like very like small loose images of what she's talking about. And probably in the page afterwards, she starts talking about the police chief and how she went nuts and killed all the survivors in the police station, and that you know, Marlene was trying to take her out or something like that, but she got shot, and she's basically a goner now. She's been bleeding out for a long time now. Yeah, something like that I think is gonna work. Yeah, that's probably just going to have to do just kind of info dump here. Maybe not as detailed as Marvin's speech was in the game, but just something along those lines. And yeah, probably just around maybe about the end of this page, I'll say something about, you know, but then the police chief, and then just kind of sort of lead on into the next page and the sort of information that the police chief's gone bonkers. Still sort of thinking about how that what the next panel should be. I kind of just want to jump right into the info dump. Probably the info dump's probably going to be the next page then. I think this following couple panels should be kind of like, oh, you must be the new girl. You know, it looks like your party's been canceled. And then her explanation starts. So let me think about how I can panel this out. I think something like this probably works good, kind of like a shot of like what Marlene sees, kind of Leona's like right in front of her, and then Clarence is just kind of standing off in the background a little bit more cautiously, and then just throw a couple of speech bubbles here, some large speech bubbles just to fill out kind of what she's saying. Oh, you must be the new girl, etc., etc. Looks like your party's been canceled. I think she should probably tell them too, like where they can find weapons. That's probably gonna lead them over to the first encounter, I guess, with the special infected. Kind of a little bit, kind of like Resident Evil Requiem. I kind of want to have Marlene give her a bullet, gun with one bullet, something like that. I think that would be kind of like a good homage to, you know, the new game, which I haven't played, but I hear it's pretty good. I do have plans of watching the game movie of it. I have no plans of actually playing it. But yeah, just haven't had time to do that. And just throw some random bubbles here. I don't have any dialogue written yet for this, but it's basically just Marvin's speech from the original game, kind of a little bit different, but just kind of around that. I think another one probably would be like, especially that part where he explains about Chris and the other STARS members, kind of like, she mentions that, and it piques Clarence's interest because, you know, he's the brother of Christina in this version I'm doing, and she kind of explains that Christina's been missing since the end of the, you know, since a couple weeks after she came back from the mansion or whatever. And, you know, well, spoiler alert, you know, she's the female nemesis they're gonna deal with later. trying to think of the shot for this panel I got right there. Kind of already know what the last shot's going to be since I just mentioned it with Clarence. I mean, the last shot should probably just be Clarence kind of more peeked up into the interest that his sister's been missing. But yeah, I think this one would probably just be kind of just like a small stuff, I guess you can say it. Not really a focus here, just kind of like a kind of shot of all the STARS members or the Moons unit as it's called here in this comic. Something like that versus an actual shot. Let me think about it. Yeah, kind of do like maybe like a helicopter shot here of the remaining Moons units, the STARS unit of this comic, just coming back. Kind of like that shot they showed. I forgot which I think it was Resident Evil 3 where they showed that shot of them like arriving back at the police station from the helicopter, something like that. Just kind of like a flashback kind of screenshot, I guess. And then just kind of Marlene mentions that, you know, Christina's been missing ever since a couple weeks after that, and that kind of you know, alerts Clarence, because that's not typical of her just to disappear without letting anybody know or something like that. Yeah, this looks good for this next page. I think it explains, gets pretty good footage, I guess. Pretty good coverage as to what's happening. We got Marlene right here. She's been fatally shot by the police chief, even though that's not mentioned in this panel, but in the next page, I mean, she's going to start mentioning the police chief. And yeah, just kind of the start right there, kind of Outbreak, at least right now, is going to be kind of the same thing. They were in the Arclay Mountains, or I was just renaming here to something else, and basically the first game happened, and the Outbreak's going to be about the same as the Resident Evil 2, kind of maybe mix in something like that of the original idea I had, kind of like the way that the vial breaks, like in the Resident Evil movies, where the guy breaks it on purpose, just to get the whole hive or nest, as it was called, infected. I just kind of mix and matching a bunch of other bunch of things. Alright, so let's get started a little bit on this page. I'm probably going to call it quits in a bit. I got other things I need to do, so I'll just draw a little bit, and probably in a couple minutes just call it quits. Alrighty, so this panel is going to be a little tough, so I'll save this for tomorrow. So I'll be live tomorrow around the same time. Tomorrow, Sunday. Probably looking about maybe like 1 p.m., 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, and just be back to be working on these comics again. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this week. Thank you guys for hanging out, and you guys stay safe out there. Good luck with your insomnia. Stay safe. Bye-bye.